Hey, on my Travel Wins podcast, I'm lucky to have Wen Muenyi. How are you today, Wen?
I'm good. How about you?
Doing excellent. Wen is the founder, creative director of HercLeon, a product that I cannot wait to hear more about. It's a laundry-free travel lifewear. It's shirts, underwear, socks that you don't have to wash or launder. And as a business traveler, that's incredible. If you can, give me a background on how you got this started, Wen.
The short version of the story is that I had just been graduating from college, and my mom was very sick at the time, but she is not known for telling me things like that because she wanted to check into my school. When I graduated, I came back home, and she was, she had been in stage 4 cancer for a long time, and so when I got home from college, she wasn't doing too well, and a few months later, she passed away. And following her death, I had a really hard time figuring out what to do with my life, and I was really struggling with the emotional impact of losing, both parents at such an early age. And so I went to Iceland for a trip to kind of like clear my head or whatever. And I packed a backpack of clothes. And on the trip, I noticed that some of them, were getting smellier faster than other ones. And I wanted to understand why, that happened. And how can I prevent that for other people? Because I know I love traveling and I hate luggage.
Yep.
So I'm like, if I could figure out to make this easier for myself, that'd be great. And so that kind of sparked the journey of learning about materials for 2-3 years now. Yeah, about 3 years, a little bit, almost 4 years almost, of just material research and learning about materials and like how can I make it, a way it doesn't smell bad and all those other things. And that's kind of how I got started on it.
I mean, it's such a cool story because, I can't tell you how many times I've traveled and some of my trips are 16 days. Sometimes they're 23 days.
Wow.
So how do you pack where I have to have a different set of clothes for every day, but like an undershirt's the same, your underwear, your socks, those are, that'd be so cool to not have to carry 23 pairs of socks,
No, 100%. Yeah. It's a hassle to travel with a lot of clothes and I don't understand why companies that do, or the bigger companies aren't doing this already because to me it makes the most sense. Like why are we doing laundry so much all the time? And it makes sense the benefit for them is that the more you wash your clothes, the faster it deteriorates, and the more you buy more clothes. So it kind of, it helps them make more money. But I get why. But it's kind of screwing over the planet and the customer. So I don't know. I guess the short side is me.
Well, no, it's disposable clothing, right?
Yeah.
That they're making clothing cheaper as a whole. Not everybody, obviously, but as a whole, we're making clothing cheaper. So you wear through it faster, so you have to buy it again. That's.
Yeah, I think that's terrible. I'm huge into the kind of reduce carbon footprint and like reduce our impact on the planet and things like that's not the direction that we're going as a consumer society.
Yeah, the sustainability is key, I think, and I think a lot of companies, the clothing companies, would be great to get on board with this. Whether it's I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. Hanes, anybody that makes an undershirt. Man, this is gold. But you're right.
Yeah, it's really nice. And when you're traveling, it's honestly like a lifesaver because your bag. I only carry. I almost never pack anything more than a backpack of clothes when I go anywhere. I can go for 14 days with a backpack. And it's always funny because I was just at a hotel for filming a show a few months ago, and everyone showed up all this luggage and like just rolling bags and whatnot. And I was my backpack. I'm like, hey, what's your luggage? I'm like, what luggage? And they were like, that's all you brought for 10 days? They're like, yeah, that's what I bring. I don't go anywhere with more than the backpack. And they're like, wow. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of high roll.
Exactly.
And it's like, I just cannot find the value of traveling with more than 2 shirts. I have 2 shirts at most, so one can hang, and the other one can be on me, and that's it. Nothing else.
That's a great way to, I was thinking about like anybody that travels overseas, especially, where a laundry might be hard to come by. It makes even more sense. Like, and if you're backpacking or camping or going out back, it seems just like it's.
Yeah, the campers are huge fans of what we're making here. Campers are one of our biggest customers. Campers and just people who like. The shirt is like by far. I'm willing to put a bet on it that if you get a shirt and you put it on, it's the softest shirt you ever put on. I can guarantee there's nothing softer than this shirt. As far as you might have experienced, unless you've experienced cashmere, then my bet is presented because cashmere is like top level, but like this is the closest to cashmere you can get. But we do have a version coming out with cashmere too, in case just so we can say we have the softest shirt on the planet. We add a little bit of cashmere into a new version. That way we can be the best in the world, undoubtedly.
Yeah, I mean that. Your background, being born and raised in Cameroon and then coming to the States, it's also given you, I would think, at least, kind of a bigger world perspective versus.
Yeah, I mean it does in a different way. It's not directly impacting my clothing; it just impacts the way I do business.
Yeah. I mean, you just have probably just have a bigger view of life. It's not just what's happening in your little, office cubicle or whatever. So.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't value money as much as most people that do business. That's what I do in America, and that allows me to have a much better customer experience because everyone that works, buys from me or shops from me knows that no matter what, I'm always there for them to help them whatever they need, and I don't care about losing money to make that happen. So, like, I just did bed sheets for men a few months ago because men are kind of gross and don't know wash his bed sheets very often. And in releasing the project, it raised I think $351,000 in Kickstarter and a little bit extra. So the total raise was like $420,000, and that would have been fine unless if COVID hadn't hit, that would have been enough money. But when COVID hit, production time went up, like skyrocketed. When costs went up again, shipping costs went up by 10x. So it went from a project that was going to make money to one that was going to lose money, and so now I'm losing money with with the project. But to me, I don't, thank God I have HercLeon making money this year, but more than ever. Otherwise, it'd been really tragic. I don't know what I would have done because I hate disappointing people, and I hate not delivering what I promised, and so it was very hard for me. But I knew that I don't mind losing money to make my customers happy, and that's what I'm basically doing right now, is losing money in the delivery of the sheets. Make sure everyone gets what they ordered and they're happy. And everyone so far has loved it. Except one person who, I think she was pregnant, and so her sense of smell was really strong, and she misattributed the smell of the packaging for the bed sheets because the packaging was warm. It was in Texas, so it was really hot outside, and so it was shipped inside a poly bag that she can recycle. And when she opened it, she smelled the bag, and so that the sheets smelled like plastic. But it wasn't a bag; it wasn't the sheets; it was a bag, and so. I tried to explain that to her, and she wasn't going to. We just didn't, really want to hear what I was saying. So I was like, that's fine. But she ended up keeping the sheets anyway, which upset me even more because I'm like, if you're going to be mean to me about something, give my sheets back because they're sold out. I have none left. I want my sheets back. I'll give you money. I don't want your money. I don't care about your money. Give my sheets back. I want my sheets back. I like them. I like them more. I like your money,
Yeah.
So that was upsetting. But yeah, it's been fun so far doing business in America.
Well, that's so cool. I mean, kind of your background is, have you always been an entrepreneur, and do you think you got that from your parents?
I think both. My dad was an entrepreneur, and my mom became one out of necessity. And so I live in Minnesota, and unbeknownst to most people until recently, Minnesota is known for being one of the most economically, I guess I don't know if it was oppressive, but the most. Minnesota, the unemployment rate in the past for if you're a white male was like 2%, 2.8%. If you're a black male, it was like 12%. So it's the worst states to be a minority economically. And moving here, my mom had no idea about the racism because I asked her, what is racism? I asked her, we're all black, we're all hanging. They're not. They put everyone's black, but no one cares. No one cares about your skin color and ask her. It's whatever. It's not a big deal. Well, she moved here. She didn't know what it was, and so as she went into her role, she had a master's degree, and she worked in the U.S. for a while there. And she always applied for new jobs and to get a promotion or whatever. And they never gave it to her, even though she's one that was the longest, working there, had the most experience and the most qualified, the most degrees and the most educated, everything. They never gave it to her, and so she didn't know why. She didn't understand why, and so she went to HR and asked them why was the problem. And HR for Minnesota. It's quite a big school, and has a bunch of different departments, and so the HR is a pretty big department. And they did research for why, or did an investigation to see what happened, and they found out it was racism, and they gave her the option to sue the school for blatant racism. But obviously, it's a single mother with 4 kids and no money. How's she gonna do that? So she was forced to stay at the job, and then on the side, start her own company. And to me, at the time when I was going to high school in America, I was like, okay, well, because I came here when I was 9, so I kind of got to experience both experiences, growing up in Cameroon and also growing up in America. And for a while, I started believing, that there wasn't a future for myself other than like, as a black person, all I see is like we're doing is entertainment and sports, whatever. So I started thinking, well, I better get good at rapping soon here, or I'm screwed, or selling some illegal substances. So I was like, what am I gonna do? And I'm very friendly, so it's hard for me to imagine being an illegal substance seller. And I'm not that athletic. I mean, I can play soccer pretty well, but not like good. I'm not good enough to make money from it. So I was like, I'm screwed. And then, but I got to see my mom because I never thought school was a path because you never see African Americans doing well because of education. I mean, I don't know. I just didn't. I wasn't seeing it, so I obviously didn't think school was a path. And so I was just in an awkward situation. But I saw my mom when she started home after she found out what happened in almost racism. She started her own company and started doing really well. And so that inspired me to be a better entrepreneur. But so that was kind of what made me fully commit to the entrepreneurial route. Even though I went to school for college, I still in the back of my mind knew that as a black person in America, the only path to success and to actual success would be entrepreneurship. And so that's when I kind of like pushed me to it. I mean, I always was a little bit, I always did little things on the side. As a 15-year-old, I had my own, I was working with app developers for their marketing and being like a consultant for them or whatever. And I think at 17, I wrote my first book. And so like I was always doing stuff, but seeing how she was able to succeed better by being an entrepreneur made me want to commit myself to that route in life.
Well, and at least in my world, you're still a young man. So, I'm excited to see your future. You got a lot going on for you.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. I mean, I got so much cooking. The kitchen is hot. It's hot in here.
Exactly. Well, what else do you have going on?
Well, on Wednesday, so one of the things that, being in Minnesota, I was very much am impacted by the killing of George Floyd. I was thinking someone else, George Floyd, yeah. And my friends actually knew him personally because they worked as event promoters at a bar, which he was a security guard for the bar. And so I talked to my friends and they were just so hurt, and I was just so hurt to see constantly like what happens constantly in Minnesota. It's like every year it happens here, every single year. And it's just kind of it's annoying and sad, and it just makes me just so disappointed because growing up in Cameroon, you see America as this place where it's like looks amazing, and it is amazing. It's just kind of a letdown in that aspect. And so on Wednesday, I have a book coming out. It's called Business While Black, and it's really into I kept thinking, what is the way I believe? How can I help? I want to help. I'm not a protester. I don't have the energy for that. I'm a very low energy person. And I don't really talk very loud, nor do I ever yell at anybody or ever get angry for anything.
Yeah.
And so I figured, let me use what I have access to, which is my experience with doing multiple businesses that are all doing really well. And writing a book before, so I'm going to use that to kind of help other people become more entrepreneurial, because like I said, entrepreneurial is the only way I believe African Americans in America succeed. So on Wednesday, I'm releasing a book called Business While Black, and that book, I believe, should help a good amount of individuals get started with entrepreneurship. And then following the book, I have a little group I'm going to be creating, called Zero, ZYRHO, and it's going to be like a little incubator, but not really. It's just going to be more like a support group for people that want to be entrepreneurs and need resources in the sense of like help, advice, or sometimes if they're releasing a product online, we can, support it, financially. But I want to just create like a platform to help, launch a bunch of the new wave of entrepreneurship, because, one of the biggest misunderstanding is that, and this is a huge thing for immigrants, is that African Americans that have been here for a long time are compared to other immigrants, but that they're not even anywhere close. They're not similar at all, because like people always ask me, because I'm asking, they're like, so why do Africans succeed in America when African Americans don't succeed? I'm like, two things that you're getting wrong about your thought is that, one, African Americans and Africans are very different. We're not been here that long. African Americans have not been here that long, so we have not gotten the psychology of America and the years of abuse that comes with being, African American. First thing. Second of all is that the Africans that get here in America are very resourceful. They have to go through a lot of hoops and whatever to get here.
Yeah. So
you're comparing very, very different people, and then of course you say, what about they comparing to Asian Americans, whatever. I'm like, so then that even goes to another section where it's like Asian Americans and other immigrants that came to America on their own free will. They usually came and went into small groups of people, to small society, like little China or whatever. It's called, those little groups where they come together and they help each other succeed and grow, and then they spread out. So by doing that, then they can use their money and combine it to kind of help each other get more wealth and more access to capital, and then they can go out and be fine alone. But because African Americans didn't have that coming together environment where they can come together and grow together. They kind of just were spread out around the country. They didn't have that same level of time and to cultivate their access to wealth. And that is another reason why, so I have this guy, my friend, he always sends me this, he's a Pakistani billionaire, and he always talks about work hard, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, that works really great for you because you're an immigrant, all that great stuff. But don't compare yourself to anyone that African Americans that have been here for multiple years, because you're not in the same boat as they are in. That's really upsets me when people do that, because it's very ignorant. If you're ignoring a lot of expressions, make that statement, those claims. So yeah.
There you go. Well, so the book's coming out this week, which will be in about 2 or 3 weeks. So, what's the best way for people to get a hold of that book? Is it is it going to be Amazon or a website or?
So it's a pre-release. I'm partnering with Indiegogo to do the pre-release. And the easiest way, I'm going to buy a domain when I get off this call in a little bit. It's going to call BWB, Business Law Black, book.com, BWB.com.
Okay.
Sorry, BWBbook.com.
Cool.
I'll just buy both, Business Law Black book, or I don't know, I'll just do BWB book because that's easier for me. .com, and then from there you can click on the link and then you go to Indiegogo. Otherwise, you go to Indiegogo.com and you search Business Law Black and you get it from there too.
Yeah, I'll make sure to put the link in on my website so people can just go to the website and then click over to your link for the book. That sounds great. Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it should be fun. I don't know. I'm nervous about it. I really don't want to do it, but I feel like I'm obligated to do it.
Well, you did you released a book when you were in high school, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not many people can say that.
I don't watch sports. I have zero version of ways to entertain myself. I don't watch sports. I don't like video games. I have a lot of free time when it comes to stuff to do. So I have nothing else to do other than work. But it's different. The first book, the first book was fun, but this one, you get into a fight that some people have very invested in the outcome of that fight. I'm very nervous about being publicly helping African Americans. Is a very dangerous game. It seems like, because a lot of times when you do it and you get well known for doing it, people will just attack you all the time. It's on the internet or even in person sometimes. So I'm very nervous about doing it, and I don't want to do it, but I'm worried that if I don't do it, who's going to do it? And so that's what I'm kind of in the rock and a hard place where I feel obligated to do it, but I don't see why they don't want to do it.
You're worried about being bullied, or?
Yeah, I don't like conflict.
I gotcha. With all that you have going on with the book and then HercLeon and some of the other projects, how do you foresee business travel changing with the lockdown?
For me or for in general?
Well, both. I mean, obviously it's going to affect you, but then in general.
As in the future of business travel in general, or so for me, I was, before COVID, happened, I was planning on moving to Africa for a little bit, and do my work remotely as far as fulfillment and everything else. But when it happened, I got an apartment in St. Paul, and so I'm here for a little longer. But I'm always traveling to experiment with new materials, new products, and new commercials. So I don't know when I will do that again, as I used to do it before. I'm not sure how long COVID is going to last. So I feel in general, I don't know. I feel what the doctor is saying, the earliest we can get back to normal or semi-normal will be next fall. So maybe next fall back to normal. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how everything pans out as far as the Zoom and remote calls and just less travel in general. But it's going to be interesting. For sure. Yeah,
I think this is a good situation. Not necessarily situation as far as COVID stuff, but at least we all know that we don't have to actually be in office. I mean, that's what I think a lot of people have learned, that most people have to be in the actual office, because it's like zero, I mean, there's not zero, but there's very little benefits to making people come to work, to actually come to work.
Yeah. Well,
So it might help reduce our carbon footprint a little bit.
Well, even like I've heard of, especially in California, maybe just a lot of companies are saying, hey, we're going to keep you at home and we'll just continue to work remote and we'll Zoom in when you have to. And so their office space.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, traffic's going to be less. Traffic will be, gas will, but it's just going to be weird to see how it pans out.
I mean, I'm excited to see. Hopefully, this is something that shows us that we can live a more flexible life than what we've been living for so long, because it doesn't make sense to drive to the office every single day when you have internet that's as fast as the one you have at home. I mean, in the past, it made sense because the internet wasn't that fast, but now that's not an excuse anymore. Everyone has fast internet at home, mostly everyone anyway.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make that much sense other than just for socializing, which is a huge waste of gas and resources to have to drive to work just to socialize with your coworker. They probably don't like that much.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, because COVID's affected different parts of the world differently. Everyone's got it on it. Even in the states here in the United States, every state has different levels of, I guess like Hawaii just opened up. Because if you wanted to visit Hawaii, you had to be shut down for 14 days. You had to be self-quarantine. So
yeah, Alaska right now is the same way too. You have to be quarantined unless you get a COVID test to get there.
Yeah, and so business travel wise, I mean, who's going to want to go to? Nobody on a business standpoint is going to want to go to Hawaii for 14 days, stay in a hotel for 14 days just so you can go do work afterwards.
No, absolutely not.
So it's just going to be very interesting to see how everything pans out. But I think there's going to be some good opportunities, and I think you're like things with your clothing line and the book. I mean, it seems like you're going to be hitting some needed areas.
Oh, I mean, we're having a good time. I mean, for me, no matter what happens, we're having fun. With the clothes, it's been. I mean, right now we have a mask. It's an anti-acne mask, and that has been selling out like hotcakes. Because a lot of people are getting acne from their mask because their mask is so close to their face, and the bacteria grows in the mask really quickly. Because a lot of people have the cheap ones that are like either really crappy cotton or like polyester, which grows bacteria like it's job. So they get a lot of acne. I'm still getting a lot of acne. So we made ours be anti-acne. We have a sweater coming out soon here that I've been working on for a while. We're using some NASA spacesuit technology to make it like the most comfortable sweater you can get. That way you can travel with one sweater and be comfortable in multiple ranges of temperatures. I'm calling it like the Duala, the HercLeon Duala space sweater. Yeah, I mean, I'm just having fun, honestly. That's what it is. And I'm working. I'm thinking, at some point when the company gets big enough, I would like to start, making a different version of our shirts to give to homeless people, because I think, when you're homeless, it's very challenging. Obviously, as you know, there's nothing. How can you wash your clothes when you're homeless? That's the first thing.
Yeah.
So I would like to one day be able to have the resources to actually, create a version that's affordable for me to make and give away to the homeless community. Because I just know how it must be challenging to live, without a way to stay clean and whatnot.
It'd be interesting if you were able to get a partner. I don't know who that would be. Someone with money, obviously, but whether it's a company or a person that wants to help the homeless in that sense. That'd be.
Oh, it could be very cool. I would love to.
Well, maybe the someone listening on the show will help out with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it'd be great. That some Christmas presents. We can give some Christmas presents to the homeless. And maybe we'll see. Maybe in my next release of sweaters will make enough, money that I could, have a nice Christmas. I mean, we've all been through so much this year.
Yeah,
we've all been through so much, and I feel just so. I mean, not just Americans. I mean, the rest of the world that relies on tourism, like they're doing worse than we're doing. So we're doing much better than everyone else is doing. But it's so hard to go and help there because I can't even get there. So if I can help people here, I would love to. I mean, one of the things like like last year, it was earlier this year, winter. I was driving and I left my apartment. I saw a homeless guy outside, and Minnesota gets really cold in winter time. It's so cold, and I actually cried because I felt so sad that this is I felt sadness, guilt, everything that you can have for the fact that, I grew up being very poor. I grew up with a family who had 22 in the house. It was a very small house, a lot of people, and then my dad had 2 wives. And so we didn't grow up with like a lot of money, but it was enough that we never had that kind of issue of being homeless. We never had the issue of not having food or whatever.
Yeah.
You might have been thirsty a few times a day or maybe hungry, but it wasn't a big deal. At the end of the day, you'd be fine. You find food somewhere. And so it made me actually sad and actually cry. I felt just so sad and disappointed that this is happening, and I want to help, but I don't have enough resources to help, and I wish I'd had more resources to help more people. But that's why I feel like how come I'm working is because 2 reasons. One is like my mom worked so hard and my dad worked so hard to get us here that it was disrespectful to their hard work for me not to work harder and achieve something in my life. And number 2 is that I want to help more people, and the only way to help more people is to have more resources. And so, so no matter what happens, everything always goes, pretty well for me so far. And I hope that this winter I could do that. That'd be really awesome to have a Christmas present for, the homeless community to go out and give them some nice things. Because they've been through it so much this year. And I don't know, I want to help more people. That's what I guess I'm saying.
That's a great goal to have, actually. And to be of your age and being so young and still having that it's actually a really cool thing to see. So you're
I don't see any value in money. Thank you. Yeah, I know. It's just not motivating to me. I have zero motivation for anything, honestly. And I have one friend that's a billionaire, and I have another one. I know one other person that's a billionaire, and I met another billionaire. I know people that are billionaires, and I always had a goal to be rich in my life. And then my first friend that's a billionaire, I met him, and I was like, you know what? Actually, that's a terrible goal. Based on his life, I don't want to be a billionaire because I don't like what his life is like. It looks terrible. And so it's like, I've always been very mindful of the environment. I've read a lot of books and biographies, and it just looks like it's not, if the goal is the money, then it's a terrible goal. It's a terrible goal because you never be happy. It's never enough money. So it's like, I just want to help. And hopefully, so far it's worked out so far. So far I've been able to I'm growing at a really fast rate to me. And I think in the next 2-3 years, I'll have to do some other resources to help more people. So I'm really excited to see how it all plays out. Yeah, well,
what's the best way for my listeners to follow you and what you have going on?
I think the most reliable way is, HercLeon's website. You can subscribe to the email list. I always send updates about things that I'm working on, and also include some personal things, on the updates. Because everyone that's on the HercLeon's email list is kind of like a friend to me at this point.
Yeah.
And so I'm always personal with them. I'm always honest about what's happening in my life as well. And obviously they're all welcome to email me and we can chat. But I think the HercLeon website is the best way to reach me, or follow along with what where life takes me.
Cool. Well, I'll make sure to include that link too then, because I want to make sure people follow you and see what you got going on.
Yeah, thank you.
So, anything you want to add in before we shut it down? Is there anything else you want to push, or what do you have coming up in the book?
Push. Yeah, the book. I have the Bed Sheets for Men, Jack Sheets. Those already been released and sold out. When I released them, I'm making more of those. Yeah, I think that's just about. I have a sweater coming out soon. So that's about it. I have the gym gear. So the gym one is coming out on November 1st, I think, or on December 31st. Because I love working out, and I hate that every time I work, I have to wash my shirt every time I work out, and that to me is just a massive inconvenience and a huge waste of pollution.
Yeah.
So I'm using the material we have and then modifying it to be more antibacterial and a little bit more moisture wicking, so you can work out comfortably. And you can wear the same shirt to the gym every day for a whole week or a month or whatever, and have to wash the shirt because I hate having to do laundry for just working out. There's no reason why I should do that. There's no reason at all. So that's something I for New Year's Eve, because everyone has to go up, getting in shape and working out. So I don't know, big shop to research the clothes for them to do that.
Just out of curiosity, how durable is the material?
Let's see. It depends on what do you mean? Like how long it's going to last, or how?
I do jiu-jitsu, and we usually wear an undershirt. And if I wear like a cotton shirt, I tend to just gets too heavy, because you sweat through it.
Yeah.
And then I wear
Yes.
some of the other shirts, but then they don't breathe.
Okay.
Like a rash guard type thing. So I don't know.
Yeah. So we are making two versions of our workout shirts. One is going to be like more of like the Under Armour type feel, like the thin moisture wicking type feel. Another's going to be a little bit, not a little bit, a lot more breathable, a lot more moisture wicking, but also like absorbent. And so for you, I think the other one that's more moisture wicking and more absorbent will be the better option because it won't get uncomfortable for you, and it will also breathe and it'll be absorbent and all that. It'll keep you cool. It's a very good option.
Yeah.
But I want to have both just because I know some people, prefer the Under Armour type like stretchy shirt experience, and some people want what I like, which is it's still like a shirt type feel, but it has the benefits of being breathable, moisture wicking, everything else.
Do you have the shirts in stock right now?
No, they're not ready yet. They're coming out. I'm still doing some. So I have a small group of people that I send them out like whatever I make, and I have them give me feedback and whatnot. So I'm still doing like the testing to see how people are respond to which one and which one I like more, and all the feedback to how to improve it for the release.
Cool. Yeah, because I'll definitely get one. So I like the fact that you're adding the colors too.
Yeah, no, definitely. Spring back around, at the end of December, and on the new webinar, the newsletter. If you want to subscribe to that, you'll get the updates. It's only every other week. I hate annoying emails, and so I try not to be too annoying about them. I send them once, twice a month, and that's it.
Okay.
And it includes everything that we're working on, and you can get discounts and whatnot on the emails and whatnot.
Perfect.
I didn't do giveaways on emails too. I did a giveaway off from our bug spray. We have a bug spray called F Off, and I made it just for fun because I just wanted to have a curse word on our product and sell it, and so I made it and it worked out, and everyone got some free ones, and it was all fun for everybody. It was a great time. Everyone laughed. It's so funny. I'll email you the link so you can look at the bottle because it's Facebook said I couldn't have ads on it because it just was a curse word like F off on the bottle of bug spray. And so that was fun, but it was for free, and I didn't care about the money. I just wanted to do it for entertainment.
Oh, that's cool though. Yeah, especially, I haven't spent too much time in Minneapolis or Minnesota, but I've been to Wisconsin, and I spent some summers in Wisconsin where the mosquitoes are huge,
atrocious.
Yeah, I call them the state bird of Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's the lake. There's many lakes up here.
Yeah. And they would just chew on me. So I like the bug spray idea. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, hey, Wen, I really appreciate the time, bud, and I'm glad it worked out that we got to talk. And like I said, I'm really excited to see what you got coming up in the future and picking up the book to read. That's good stuff going on.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate the time and having me on your show.
Again, thank you, and we'll talk soon. I appreciate the time, bud.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Wen.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.